Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses. Hello.
Hello.
Hiya. I'm doing something here from university at the minute. I'm doing a study in theology, and we have to study one of the alternative religions.
Oh yeah.
Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Scientology, that sort of thing. So I've been looking into it and stuff. It's really interesting, isn't it? Like, it's a very interesting religion.
It's very logical as well.
Right,
It's all based on the Bible. Have you found that out yourself by looking at it?
Yeah, getting that. I mean, I've found out a few things about it so far. I've only just started the paper and everything, but I mean, one thing I say about it is it's like there's no racism at all in it. I mean, a lot of churches, nothing that you can actually discern anywhere, sort of thing. It's very
Have you had one of these publications?
No.
Because this will give you it straight from the horse's mouth, if you like.
Oh, right, okay.
And it does what
I
it
can
says.
take this one, can I?
You can. What can the Bible teach us?
Yeah.
And it goes through all the teachings from the Bible. And while we go along with it, and it will just explain it very logically, and you can make up your own mind.
Okay.
And also, I tell you what else they've got. Have you been onto our website yet?
Yeah, it's jw.org.
Have you seen the little study, what you can do online?
Yeah, no, I've clicked through quite a lot of it. It's, the thing that was interesting to me, and not off your side, but I've looked all over the place, is 1914. The world's going to end in 1914. Obviously, that sort of didn't happen and everything. What was the story of that?
Yeah, 1914, as they understood it quite that, they knew it was going to be an eventful year.
Yeah, that's
they didn't quite know what. And then, of course, it came, and it didn't sort of happen what they, no, we got it wrong, and investigated further. And that was just the start of what we are now, where we are at now.
So what happened in 1914?
Well, according to the Bible, and what we can work from Bible chronology, God's kingdom was set up by then.
So that figure comes up in the Bible, 1914?
It does, 1914.
Yeah, that's in that book, actually.
And it explains it right at the back.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very pivotal year.
So when I was looking at it, because originally he said, it's pastor something, wasn't it? The guy who set it up. He had a big beard and an armoured type hat. What was his name again?
Russell, was that Russell?
Yeah.
Russell. Yeah. Pastor Russell. I'm trying to remember his first name.
Yeah, it's an unusual one.
Charles Russell, that's the one.
Yeah.
So because he said that the world would end in 1914.
Yeah, they thought it was, but they'd obviously got it wrong.
And then they changed it.
They realised they'd got it wrong. Hence 1914 came and it happened. But the war came instead.
The war did come.
And that was...
the world was a lot different from 1914 down.
Yeah.
The world was a lot different place. Now you can see how things have progressed and got steadily worse, really. Yeah. And that was the prophecy that the Satan was then.
But the original prophecy was that the Armageddon or the end of the world would come in 1914. And
well, that's what they thought might was happening.
Yeah,
but they realised they got it wrong.
So Satan and his demons.
So where did the figure 1975 come up then? So I've been looking into this last few weeks, kind of thing.
But have a look at that, because you'll see that in the back on the back where it's all it gives you the timeline, why you think that.
Right.
It's 70 weeks actually.
A couple of
weeks. Yeah, and how God's kingdom was set up.
Okay.
Because that's virtually what it is.
Because one of the things that's been coming up in my in what I've been looking at and everything. So I've obviously sort of studied the Bible as well, as why I'm doing theology. It's do you know Deuteronomy 18 or something?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 18.
22, 23, 21, 22, 23. It's talking about false prophets.
Yeah.
And it says how would it says if there's a false prophet you should actually drag him out and kill him. I think is the paraphrase of what it says. It says how would we know there's a false prophet, O Lord?
Yeah.
And he says because he will foretell a prophecy, and when that time comes to pass, you'll know that it wasn't from me, and you should be cast out from amongst yourself and not feared.
Yeah.
Now my question is.
I don't think so.
So yeah, obviously, if you've made the prophecies and then they haven't come through,
well, it wasn't a prophecy for a start. It was only a timeline, and also.
So what was it if it wasn't a prophecy?
Well, it can't be a prophecy because what I'm saying is that timeline. They did think certain things were going to happen, and obviously they haven't. But if you read it, you'll explain it. It explains it all. It does, yeah.
So I mean, there's just one problem with it though. Cause obviously, I'm not. I'm going
to thinking that,
because obviously it was obviously a prophecy that because again, when I looked into it, I thought it was something different to the Awake. It wasn't called the Awake. I thought you might have
Watchtower.
Watchtower, that's
Yeah.
it. Because in the Watchtower, when we were looking up, it was encouraging people to sell their possessions and everything, because the end of the world was coming in 1975.
Yeah.
And I read an account of brothers selling their winter coats.
Yeah. But that
Because
was-
because the Watchtower was saying absolutely the end of the world is coming in
But it
1975.
didn't actually say that.
Oh,
People interpreted it as that.
no. This is it. Again, sorry, I've looked into all of this. It's really exciting to actually meet some of you. No, the Watchtower actually said the end of the world is coming within the next few months, and October 1975 is going to be the end of the world. That's a prophecy. No matter which way you say it, that is a prophecy. Saying the end of the world will happen on a month, on a year,
Well,
that's a prophecy.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that say the world's going to come to an end at certain times. We know that, not necessarily religion.
Most of them are nut jobs.
Yeah. But everything in the Bible that has been prophesied has come true. There's only one last one to come true, and that is God's kingdom.
God's
On
kingdom.
the earth.
Oh,
And
you
just
don't believe in
because
heaven, do you? Oh, you don't. We don't go to heaven.
We believe there's only a certain crowd that go to heaven.
Right,
which is
okay.
the
144,000.
Yeah, and there'll be kings and priests only ones on the earth. Because that is God's
So who's
main
that?
purpose, that we live on the earth for peace and security.
On the earth, and everything. I mean, it's strange because you're the only religion that teaches on the earth, isn't it? I mean, getting back to the 1940s.
Muslims,
I haven't looked into Islam. I'm looking at more of the sort of Christian-esque sort of religions and everything. But I mean, it's just what I'm trying to get to the crux of, and what I'm trying to actually paraphrase in my paper, is why people still believe after there's been several false prophecies.
Have a look through, because it is covered in there.
I've read loads of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear it from people who actually live it.
Yeah.
Because another thing we found out is that you guys are generally very honest, very decent people, all the rest of it. I mean, obviously it's a massive paedophile problem, but you know, most churches have that and everything. But that's a bit of a scary one. But yeah, so
But that's all over, isn't it? That's not just in religion.
no, it's all over. Yeah.
And once it comes to light that somebody is practicing, it's dealt with.
Yeah.
How is it dealt with though?
Well,
They're put out of.
they're put outside the organisation if you carry on doing it.
Would you call the police?
Oh, yeah. If the family want to do that, it's up to them.
Not the family. Would you call the police over that?
Well, sometimes families don't want it. They don't want to go through all that.
No, it's like
So it's got to be down to the family.
Yeah, were any of them cases reported to the police?
Yes.
They
I've got
were.
friends that have been, and they've been put inside for it. They've gone down for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Anyone who touches kids needs to be strung up, as
It's
far
not
as I'm
tolerated.
concerned.
Once it's brought to light, it's not tolerated by any means.
Because the thing that came up when I was looking at it and everything is it's an old Hebrew law or something about you've got to have two witnesses for it to be a crime.
Yeah.
And all of the court cases and everything, obviously you know better than I do, there's a £66 million lawsuit against you in Canada at the moment.
Yeah.
There's the Australian Royal Commission with over 1,000 paedophiles that were found within the organisation. Not one of them was reported to the police.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
We only ever go by the jw.org site. I would never look at any other information online with Jehovah's Witnesses, because you're not getting it from the horse's mouth. You're getting it from people that might have had a problem with witnesses.
Okay, no problem.
Left, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, there's resentful people everywhere.
Yeah,
I get that.
there is on any religion.
Yeah,
I'm saying that through Church of England, through Catholic. I'm being fair to them all. That really, you should only ever go to the true source, which is that organisation, which is jw.org.
So with that, you know, I accept that, because obviously there's a lot of bad stuff going around.
For all the other sites that might be.
The thing that I would point out though is you haven't got a pope, have you? You've got 8 people that make up a pope. Essentially, essentially.
No, we have a governing body.
Right, but they're inspired by God and all the rest of it.
That fluctuates. It's not always 8. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less.
Okay.
It just.
But then people do actually speak for the organisation.
As a body, so as individuals, no. They
individuals,
don't. They're like me and they're like Anna, okay? But when they get together as a body, so when those 8 brothers get together as a body, then yes, we do believe that Jehovah God only uses that form, nothing ever else within the organisation.
But what they say is inspired by God.
But it's always backed up by scripture.
Yes.
They never sort of that you do, then it's not backed up.
The thing that I was actually referencing, the Australian Royal Commission interviewed Jeffrey Jackson.
Yeah.
He's one of your governor. Have you seen his interview on there at all?
No.
Are you allowed to watch him giving evidence in court? Because there's one of your governors.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that I got the 1,016 files that were not reported to the police, that came out of Jeffrey Jackson. Am I saying that right? I keep getting it wrong.
Yeah.
It came. He was the one who said it. He was the one who said we have 1,006 paedophiles on record, and no, they haven't been handed over to the police, and no, we won't hand them over to the police because we deal with them spiritually.
Oh no, well that can't be him because that's not true.
Well, you can.
I'm being honest.
If you go to the Australian Royal Commission, you can watch him say it with his own.
I can tell you this because I know. But if you went to one of the areas in the congregation, so the men that help with others and teach, and you mentioned the word paedophile, even if you said, I think he's a paedophile, like some people do, they would have to ring the police.
Do they?
They cannot go any other way, but they have to ring the police.
Right.
Because once you mention that word, it's a very serious allegation.
Okay. Again, coming from the Royal Australian Commission, so this is I'm not saying something from somebody who's resentful or
No.
coming from your own governing body member, and I think it's called Spinks or something. He's head of legal department in Australia, I believe. You can watch, they're all Jehovah's Witnesses, you can watch them all get an interview. They're all saying the same thing, that no, we will not ring the police, we ring the branch office, and then we tell the family that they can call the police if they want to. That's what Jehovah's Witnesses actually say in court.
I suppose that is true, that it is up to the family individual.
So you wouldn't report them to the police, that's standard?
It's all different circumstances, isn't it? Especially with paedophilia, like Anna says. If you went to the police about somebody, they would automatically go to the family. And if that family go, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to take it no further, the police have got no option.
Oh no, my mum's a social worker, I'll tell you that's absolutely categorically not true.
Well, I can't answer for that, what you've seen.
There's something called safeguarding with children where any allegation has to be taken to the police.
And the police have to be proven.
No. Allegations don't have to be proven to be taken to the police investigate it.
Which is what they do, they'd go to the family, wouldn't they? Because that's where they go. If somebody's been being abused, they go to the family and say...
You would interview witnesses, or witnesses, not Jehovah's Witnesses, you interview witnesses to the crime. But obviously there's DNA evidence and there's all the other things as well. I mean, there are hundreds of cases, obviously, where children have been abused and there haven't been any witnesses and the persecutor has been taken down.
Yeah.
But that's only when you go to the police because they're trained to do this. They know what it is they're doing. I just wonder why it is that you won't go to the police yourselves when the safeguarding says that you really should.
Well, I would go to the police, and I know brothers do go to the police.
The only thing was with it is what he was saying was it's not up to them to go to the police. It's up to the family to make the decision, and there could be a false witness or something like that. You don't want to scurry someone's name, but doesn't that every accusation should?
Seen the interviews.
No, we can't comment on it.
Why haven't you seen it there? If it was the Pope and I'm not Catholic, but if I was Catholic,
I would only go on the JW.org site,
but
and I've never seen that on that interview on the JW.
No, I've never seen it.
So are you allowed to watch them speaking in court then, or you're not allowed to watch anything apart from the JW.org site?
Well, that's all I go to for information, because that, as an organisation, is what's used. I wouldn't go to anything else.
So it is very much like Scientology then?
No, I just wouldn't choose. I could go on the internet and look up anything I wanted to, but I prefer just to use the JW.org. I don't know what's been messed around with other stuff, but I trust the JW.org.
But you wouldn't trust a court case where you could see your own governing body members speaking with their own mouths?
How do I know that it's not been messed about with?
Well,
we've had a programme on television before, and they really messed about with it, and the ones, they said, that's not right. He said, it's too bad, we'll still put it on television. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. If it's biased, it's biased. But in an actual court, you have the entire time. I mean, again, I'm researching it and all the rest of it to write my paper. I chose you guys because it's a really interesting religion. I could have chosen some of the others. But when I do something, I sort of go into it. Well, have a read of that and see what you think. You know we're about a lot.
I'll probably see it again. The point that I'm making though is, well, why would you not be able to look at your own governing body members giving the evidence? I don't understand that.
I didn't even know they
No, I haven't. I haven't.
It's the Australian. To tell that it's not been messed around with, you can go onto the Australian Royal Commission on the Australian government website, and you can watch the entire. I think it's about 5 days. I haven't watched all 5 days. I watched about 5 hours of it though. And you can watch all the governing body members and all the head of the legal department for JWs and all the elders and such, all saying the same thing. Yes, children are at risk. No, we're not going to stop the 2-witness rule. No, we're not going to report them to the police unless it's mandatory. I mean, does that not worry you?
All I can say is I've known people that have been in this situation with paedophiles, and I've known how it's been dealt with by the society, and it's been dealt with correctly, and that has gone through a legal side. So yeah, it has gone through elders, but it has gone through a legal side, and I know the men that have been put in prison, so I can't say anything different than that, you know?
I mean, would you consider looking at the Australian Royal Commission?
I personally wouldn't, no.
Why not?
Because I don't feel I need to. I don't feel I need to. And we're here to teach people the Bible, from like that book will show you, and give people a hope for the future. So all the ins and outs, I totally trust.
So take it back to scripture again then, and because that's where they got the 2-witness rule from a Hebrew thing, where there's got to be 2 witnesses.
We would say that if somebody went to somebody else and said, oh, you know, that person, just say that person is smoking. The elders would say, well, just say, oh, you'd have to have a couple of witnesses for it to be proven. That would only be fair, because if you were the person that it was against, you'd want the witnesses, wouldn't you?
Well, but if I was the victim, I'd want it to go to the police.
Yeah, but just say they were saying you were a big fan, and you were going, I'm not. You'd be grateful for that prophecy of 2 witnesses.
Well, that it wouldn't go to the police without the second witness.
No,
if I was a paedophile, I'd be very grateful it wasn't going to the police as well. I mean, the thing is, taking it back to scripture, because you want to talk about scriptures. When it's talking about the 2-witness rule, it also talks about if a woman fornicates with a man in the city, they're both to be taken out the stone. However, if a woman's in the field and she's a man lady that's raped, and she cries out and no one hears her, then her testimony is enough. No other witness is needed. Look at that, please. So when someone's raped, you don't need 2 witnesses. But when a child goes in and says that they've been raped, they have to have another witness, otherwise the elders won't even look into it.
Well, they do look into it, because I know, I've said to you, I know cases completely, and they do look into it.
Anyway, you have a read of that.
Oh, I will do.
And you know we're about, and what's your name?
Me, I'm Steve.
Steve, yeah.
So
and this is Helen. She's new into the area, so I've got to think for a minute what her name is. And I'm Anna.
Yeah, that's very nice.
You're very welcome to come and talk to us again.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've not finished talking to you right now, right? But unless you've got other people you wanted to stop and everything, you know. But it's just really interesting. Again, going back to the thing where you said I wouldn't look at the other sites. Have you ever looked into Scientology at all? So I've looked into that as well. The similarities between Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientologists are so intertwined, and the doctrines are they're identical in a lot of things. You have is it disconnecting or disassociating with disfellowshipping, that's the one. So Scientology, Mormon and Jehovah's Witnesses have precisely the same doctrine on that, exactly the same. But then when it comes on to looking at information coming from outside of the church, the organisation or the church, depending on which one you're looking at, Scientologists and Mormons are also not allowed to look outside because that's evil or corrupt information and all the rest of it. What my question, I suppose, is how do you get a balanced view on your own religion when you're not allowed to look at the other side of the argument?
If I wanted to look, I could. But I don't want to. I'm totally happy. I've got my relationship with Jehovah. Yeah, I've got my relationship with Jehovah, which is the most important thing. I've proved it to myself.
How have you proved it to yourself?
Well, because I've studied it.
So what is it? So what is it for you that sets this religion apart from all the other religions in the world?
I think there's a lot of things. A lot of other religions in as much as they go to war. We don't get involved with that. We don't get involved with racial things.
No, absolutely. You're non-racist. I get that. That's one thing that comes up quite frequently. These are very non-racist, very equal opportunities.
We're honest people.
Equal for colours anyway, not equal for men and women, obviously. But you're not allowed to be elders or priests or anything, are you, as a woman?
the men are teachers, but we teach. We teach to people like you.
So are you
on
allowed
the
to
street,
give
and
sermons?
we give talks, don't we, Anna?
Yeah.
So would you be elders in the congregation as well then?
No, that is only men that do that.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Do you know why that is?
It's scriptural. Very much scriptural. It says woman is not allowed to teach in the congregation to the congregation itself. That's left to the elders, or the males.
It also says in the Greek Testament
It's not always elders either. It's other ones give talk.
I mean, it also says, if you want to take it literally, in the Greek scriptures, that women should be silent in all meetings as well. Women should be silent and shouldn't say that and should address their husbands after the event. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not a dictionary of the Bible, but this is what it says as well. I mean, so it's not taken literally in all cases, is it? The Bible.
That was back in the 1st century. Those sort of things change, and that isn't the situation now. No. God views us all as equal. Every person is equal to do their heart condition. And that's, just because men are elders doesn't make them above us at all, and that's not what.
So they don't hold any power over you then?
No, they don't hold any power over us.
They couldn't reprimand you or anything like that. You haven't got any sort of.
They can correct us like anybody else can. If they see we're doing something
But
wrong.
if we saw they were doing something
We
wrong,
do exactly the
we
same.
would correct them.
So you could punish them in the same way they can punish you?
But it's not about punishing. It's
Or
just,
reprimanded, or whatever it
yeah,
is.
if I felt
It's
they
just
were going
correcting.
down a wrong road, you'd tell anyone, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
man or woman.
if you found the elders doing it, though, you couldn't disfellowship the elders, could
Yeah,
you?
well, they can be disfellowship, not by a woman particularly, but
So,
Be dealt with.
Yeah.
so
Be dealt with.
how strict is your disfellowship? Because I know with Scientologists, once I think it's disconnected, they call it or something, you are out, you are not to speak to them, they are out, you do not open the doors to them, all the rest of it. It's a very, very harsh regime. How strict is your disfellowship on them?
There are disfellowships as long as they want to be in that state.
Right.
If they're repentant and they stop doing whatever they was doing, what isn't scriptural, then in time they're allowed back.
Okay, so what if they just stopped believing in it and just wanted to do something else?
That's all right. That's what they want to do. Carry on as they are.
Okay,
yeah,
so
everybody's got free
they've got the
will.
choice.
yeah, so what would that? What would you be like the Scientologists then, where you shut them off completely if they're disfellowshipped, or would you still talk to them?
We wouldn't have contact with them for no reason at all. I mean, if they're family, we'd probably have some contact with them. But if they don't want to be a witness, they don't want to be a part of the organisation.
So if it's like, for argument's sake, your son or daughter that got disfellowship, they'd still be allowed to come out and have Sunday dinner with you or something like that?
I wouldn't socialise with them to that extent because they're obviously doing something wrong to get into that state.
No, my original point was, what if they're not doing anything wrong? What if they just choose not to follow it
they
anymore?
don't have to just, they're not disfellowshipped if they just stop going. No, it's only when they do something wrong they're disfellowshipped.
Okay.
But if somebody just doesn't want to be, they can go do,
And you would still have completely normal contact with that person?
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Long as
cut them off or
No,
anything?
not at all.
Okay.
My son stopped going, I still have contact with him, he just stopped going.
Yeah?
Didn't want to be a witness anymore.
Was he a fully integrated member before he left?
He was baptised and he was doing the ministry, but he decided it wasn't, he just stopped coming.
Right, okay.
Several things happened and he just stopped coming.
Yeah.
But he's still, still my son, I still
So
talk to him.
does he celebrate Christmas and these sorts of things now?
He doesn't tell me, so whether he does or not, I don't know.
But if you were around saw a Christmas tree in his house, would you still be able to speak to him then?
It's been such a long time since he stopped coming.
Do you have regular contact with him still?
Yeah, I see him regularly.
So if you did celebrate Christmas, would you be able to still speak to him, or would you have to cut
That would
him
be
off?
up to me.
That would be up to you, would it?
It would be up to me. If it's not being dealt with the elders, if it's not disfellowship, then that's totally up to me.
So about 2 hours of the Royal Australian Commission was talking about disfellowship, sorry, I keep getting them confused. And what they were saying was that if someone, the barrister put it in a very specific way, and the Jeffrey Jefferson kept saying, I don't know, I don't work in that department, I don't work on that department, which he's one of your I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to say the word, but one of your governing body. It seems a bit strange to me that he wouldn't know what the rules were on disfellowship. But he very specifically says that's not my department. I don't really know. And the barrister has to bring him back to it all the time and say, look, here's the scenario. Someone has faded away, they haven't come to the meetings, they haven't done anything that's disfellowship worthy, like smoking, anything like that. He says, you go round for a shepherding call and you see a Christmas tree in his house, would you still be able to speak to that person? And what do you think the answer was?
I don't know, what was the answer?
I'd encourage you to go on and have a look at it, because the thing is...
Tell me what you said.
I would encourage you to go on and look at what your governing body is saying on that. It's just that I can lay it all on a plate for you, but all you have to do is watch your own governing body actually talk with their own mouth. It's not twisted or against it.
Fellowshipping, people,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes want to not be in the truth anymore, as we call it, the truth, the organisation anymore, and do their own thing. And like Hannah says, it's free will at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, we don't want Jehovah doesn't want anybody to serve him because he wants love. You know, that's why we serve him, because we love him, and if he's one we don't, then that's up to them.
So you would cut them off once they've been disfellowshipped, once they've done something that's against the church's rules.
If they've done something that, you know, would be against the organisation, then yeah, we would cut them off.
Is that scriptural as well?
That is scriptural,
Because I know that they normally...
It's the hardest thing, and to be fair, it's not something that we want, if you know what I mean. We want them to try and come to their senses and come back, so we see it as a loving act.
A loving act of showing them.
I know it sounds really harsh to you, and I understand that, I really do, because it's probably the hardest thing for us as witnesses to do. I can say that because I've got it in my own family. But we see it as, we trust what God says, and we see it as we would want them to come to their senses, and it's the strongest form of discipline that God gives, and we hope that it works.
I mean, because
I know it seems like do you know what I mean?
But again, going back to that, because I think the scripture that you bring up says anyone calling himself a brother who does bad things they should go to him and approach him, and if he still carries on with his bad ways, then he should be taken. Do you know the important couple of words in that whole paragraph? Anyone calling himself a brother.
Yeah. So it's somebody baptised.
Yeah, so if someone just leaves and doesn't want to do it anymore, doesn't really want to be part of it anymore, but you would still shun them.
Not if there is ones that leave and get on with their life, if you like, and perhaps they're married, so they're not committing immorality. And a lot that leave don't celebrate those celebrations because they know that it's pagan anyway, so they don't really get involved.
Yeah, but everything's pagan. Wedding rings are pagan.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, some people do choose to carry on the association, but if you're asking me whether I think it's right, I'd say to you, if they're doing anything that would be, just because they haven't been disfellowshipped, but they've gone into the world and carried on their life and doing celebrations, well, no, I wouldn't choose to associate them. Because to my mind, it would be hypocritical to the ones who've been disfellowshipped. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
so just because one's not and one is, but they're both doing the same thing, well, in God's eyes,
it becomes the technicality at that point, doesn't it?
That's exactly what I'm saying to
But
you.
I mean, Jesus ate with the tax collectors and the Pharisees and the people of the
But
world,
they
and
weren't
the
baptised,
Pharisees.
and we do. We eat with people who've got friends or acquaintances that aren't witnesses.
I mean,
It's when they become into a relationship with God themselves. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So they've studied the Bible, they've gone through.
But if say someone comes in, I go, oh, this is really helpful, by the way. Thank you so much for your time, guys. But say someone comes in with their family and they get baptised. They're young, because you baptise quite young, don't you?
No. We say you should know.
It's their decision.
Yeah.
Some are way into their teenage years.
Yeah.
Some are maybe 12-year-old, but that's if they've got the basic understanding, but generally they're older than that. So we don't do youngsters.
There's one of your governing body members. Please don't take this as disrespectful. But I'm trying to describe him because I can't remember his name. But he's got a very rolling voice.
Oh, that's Morris.
No, it's Paul.
I know what you mean.
Something
Paul
Letts.
Yeah.
Stephen.
Stephen Letts. That's it, Stephen Letts. Yeah, see, he's given one of his figures. It's actually on jw.org. You can look at it, and he's talking about young baptism, and he says that I've heard of brothers as young as 9 years old that have come into the fold, and it's brilliant to see them serving Jehovah in his rolling voice. I mean, 9 years old is very young to be making life choices, surely. Because here's the thing: you go into your church, okay? Is it a church or temple? Sorry, Kingdom Hall. That's it. So they go into the Kingdom Hall. Maybe they're born into it. Maybe they go really, really young. At 9, 10, 11, 12, you said 12 years old, whatever. You want to do everything to please your mum and dad, don't you? Because they're your idols, all the rest of it. So you would very, very easily want to do this for them. At 15, 16 years old, if they change their minds and they decide they don't want to do that, they want to do something else, what happens to them? Is it a hard one to answer, or is it a hard one to? Is it a split? Is it a split decision, or?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's a really hard one.
So you would cut them off completely?
If they're dysfunctional, I wouldn't have a choice.
So you're forced to disconnect?
No, I mean I could, but I'd have to follow God.
So what would the repercussions be for you if you did continue speaking to them when they were disfellowshipped?
Well, there is no repercussions, is there?
So you wouldn't be disfellowshipped yourself?
No. But we just feel like of our study of the Bible, that we're helping them in that way, like I tried to explain to you.
Yeah. See? But what about if they really need help or something?
Oh, well then they can, if they need help, or they're getting any problems, then no, we would help.
Because the other video they had on there, just after Stephen Lett's one, actually, I think, it's a couple, and they're in their kitchen. I'm going to try. Sorry, I've seen a lot of stuff, and it's not just this. I've seen it on Scientology and all sorts. I'm trying to pick out the bits that are relevant. But they're in the kitchen, and they're cooking dinner or whatever it is, and their disfellowship daughter rings them up, and the mum looks at the phone, and the husband comes up and puts it back down. Do you know what I was thinking when I was watching that? What if she's on a bridge about to jump off because she hasn't seen her parents in a while? They're just not answering the phone to her. I know. How would you be able to talk to them? Do you understand where I'm coming? Do you understand where I'm coming? I'm not trying to be harsh with it.
I both know that video, don't we?
Yeah.
I can't answer for anyone else.
Right, but for yourself personally, you said it's in your family, so from your own viewpoint.
I don't know until you're in that situation. I don't think you can answer that.
Because here's the thing: if they did come in at say 12, let's just, for argument's sake, forget about the video. They come in at 12. What's something they could do at 15 to get up to be a disfellowship in offence? Sex before marriage, something like that. Okay, so they have sex at 15. They don't repent from it with disfellowship. You then cut them off as a family. Okay, you've cut your son off or your daughter off or whatever it happens to be. Okay. At 12 years old, do you think they were in a capable position to be taking a life choice that would affect the rest of their lives?
But also, it's when they become responsible for themselves. So we would take care of them until they become responsible for themselves, 18 or
so
whatever.
18 is how we do it.
Well, if they're still current. But we'd still take care of them.
Yes, of course you can.
As a youngster.
Okay, brilliant. It's John, JOHN.